What would you do if the sins of someone else's past came knocking, threatening the one you love most? I never thought I'd face that question, but life has a way of unraveling secrets in the cruelest ways. My name is Claire, and this is the story of how my stepson, Ethan, became the target of a vengeful heart and how I fought to protect him. 2 years ago, I married David, a man whose quiet strength and kind eyes made me believe in second chances. He came with a past, a messy divorce from his ex-wife, Laura, and a 14-year-old son, Ethan, who carried the weight of their fractured family in his guarded smiles. Laura had cheated on David years ago with a man named Mark, a charming but ruthless businessman. The affair shattered their marriage, leaving David to rebuild his life and Ethan caught in the wreckage. I thought that chapter was closed, buried under time and new beginnings. I was wrong. It started with whispers. Ethan, usually bright and quick-witted, began coming home from school with shadows in his eyes. He'd shrug off questions, but I noticed the way his hands trembled when he thought no one was watching. Then came the messages, anonymous texts sent to his phone, cruel and taunting. "You're just like your father," one read. "Weak. Worthless." I found him one night, curled up in his room, staring at those words, his face pale. My heart broke, but it also burned with a fierce need to protect him. David and I dug deeper, and the truth unraveled like a thread pulled too hard. The messages weren't random. They came from Vanessa, Mark's former mistress, a woman scorned not just by Mark, but by the life she thought she'd won. After Laura's affair with Mark ended, Vanessa had clung to him, believing he'd choose her. He didn't. Instead, he discarded her, leaving her bitter and obsessed with revenge. But Vanessa didn't aim her anger at Laura or Mark. She set her sights on Ethan, the innocent boy tied to the family she blamed for her pain. At first, her attacks were subtle, spreading rumors at Ethan's school, whispering lies to his friends about his family. Kids can be cruel when fed poison, and soon Ethan was isolated, his once lively spirit dimmed. But Vanessa's cruelty escalated. One evening, Ethan didn't come home. Panic clawed at my chest as David and I searched the streets. We found him hours later, shaken, in an alley near the school. He'd been cornered by older boys, hired by Vanessa to intimidate him. A bruise bloomed on his cheek, and his voice broke as he whispered, "Why me?" I wanted to scream, to tear the world apart to keep him safe. But rage wouldn't solve this. We went to the police, but Vanessa was clever, covering her tracks with fake accounts and untraceable messages. The law couldn't touch her yet. I refused to let her win. Ethan deserved better, and I'd be damned if I let her break him. I started watching Vanessa, learning her patterns. She was a ghost online, but in person, she was careless, frequenting a rundown bar where she'd drink and mutter about her plans. I recorded her one night, her voice slurring as she bragged about teaching that kid a lesson. It wasn't enough for a conviction, but it was a start. I also reached out to Ethan's school, exposing the rumors and rallying his teachers to support him. Slowly, his friends returned, their loyalty stronger than Vanessa's lies. But the real turning point came from Ethan himself. One night, as we sat together, he looked at me with those big, searching eyes and said, "I don't want to be afraid anymore." His courage lit something in me. We devised a plan not for revenge, but for justice. Ethan agreed to wear a recorder to school, capturing any interactions tied to Vanessa. It took weeks, but we caught her slipping, sending a message through one of her proxies, a kid she'd paid to taunt Ethan. The recording, paired with my evidence, was enough. The police tracked Vanessa down, and she was charged with harassment and stalking. The courtroom was quiet when Vanessa faced us, her defiance crumbling under the weight of Ethan's steady gaze. He wasn't just a victim. He was a survivor, standing tall despite her cruelty. The judge sentenced her to community service and a restraining order, but the real victory was Ethan's reclaimed strength. He smiled again, brighter than ever, and I felt a mother's pride, even if I wasn't his by blood. In the end, this wasn't just about stopping Vanessa. It was about showing Ethan that love could shield him, that he was worth fighting for. The scars of this ordeal linger, but they've made us strong. David and Ethan, a family forged not just by love, but by the battles we faced together. And if anyone ever tries to hurt my stepson again, they'll find me waiting, ready to protect what's mine.